Ontario. My name's Dave, and this is Macaro Siding, my N-Skill layout. Today we're going to talk about wiring, or at least how I do wire. I've watched a lot of videos, and there's a lot of different ways of doing this, but and I'm not going to work under the table. I'm going to work on top of the table so you can see what I'm doing, because there's just no way you would be able to see when I'm working underneath the table. One of the, aside from ballasting, it's one of the things I dislike the most and why I put it off so long. So, first off, let's talk about what you need. So you obviously need wire. So what I have is what most people would call speaker wire for running it on a stereo system. I've got 100 feet here, and I've got another 100 foot spool somewhere else over on the table over there. So that's, and this is for my main bus. So you want, now lots of people wire them with two separate wires and twist them so that they don't. There's no interference on with the signal going through the wire. I can't remember where I saw this person using this. I think it might have been the DCC guy, and he said that he and a few others had done it this way, and it worked perfectly well. So that's how I would do it. The other thing you need is wire for your droppers. So again, I've got a spool of wire. I think this is only 50 feet. Does it say on here? No, it's in Chinese. Okay, but it is, and this is, both of these are braided wire. You can use solid, but braided wire is easier to work with because it bends easier. So those are the two main components. Now you need connectors. I'm going to show you the connectors I use. I'm just going to switch cameras for a second so you can see. So the connectors I use are these things. And you put the wire, you put it over the wire, and then you squeeze them together. It cuts through the insulation on the outside and creates a circuit. Once you've done that, you take your dropper and you put this on the end of the dropper. I'm going to show you a sample in a second here. And then that slides onto this connector. Slides right on here. So here, I'll just get a setup so you can see. So here we are. You can see the connectors on there, and you can see that this one has a dropper line attached to it. Now, the reason I do it this way is just because of this. If you have a dead lead or something, you can just disconnect this and you don't have to touch your main bus. So it just slides on here like this. I push it on, there it is. And I'll show you how I do this in a second here. Now the other tools you're going to need are pair wire strippers, wire strippers. You need some kind of crimping tool if you're going to do it the way I do it. You know, this you don't need. This is just me being fancy. So that's a crimping tool. To squeeze those things together, to squeeze these little joiners together, you'll need a good set of pliers, good heavy teeth, and something that you can really squeeze down on, because you can't do it just with your fingers. If you can do it with your fingers, you've got very, very strong hands. But I can't do it with my fingers. I have to use pair of pliers. a pair of electrical pliers. This one I use for crimping these little things that go snap onto the connector. Another tool I use, and you don't have to use it, it'll depend on how thick your baseboard is, or if you just like having fancy tools around, is this thing. Believe it or not, this is an ear forceps for removing items that people get stuck in their ears. It goes into your ear canal, and then they can open the little claw on it and pull it out. But it's perfect for going down through the sub road on my layout, because my sub road is 3 inches thick. There's 1 inch of not PVC, insulation foam, and then a 2-inch layer of insulation foam. So sometimes, and then there's a piece of plywood underneath that. So to get a wire to go all the way through, sometimes you can get it, you can feed it down by yourself, like just by feeding it in, and it goes in, and then at other times you can't. So this allows me to go right through the baseboard, clamp onto the wire, and then pull it up. We're getting close to the end here of tools. Last, a drill. And again, because my sub road bed is so thick, I have a very long, very thin drill. And that's the first thing we're going to do once we start this demo. I'm going to work just over here. I'm going to switch to one of the other cameras, so you get my hands. You just be seeing my hands, but I'll be there. So that's it for tools. Now, what do you need for actually wiring it up? Well, you need, if you're DC, you just need a power supply transformer that has a volume rheostat that you can lower the speed or increase the speed of your locomotives. But my layout is going to be DCC because I like the features that DCC has. You can run multiple trains at the same time. You've got sound, you've got lights, you got all sorts of bells and whistles to play with it when you're doing it, and so that's what I'm doing. So originally I bought the NCE power cap, and it came with its own power supply and 2 cables. And in my research I found that because my layout is big, it's something like 16 feet by 10 feet. So, and if you're running all that, you're running long lengths of wire and long lengths of track. So what I did was I went out and bought their smart booster for the track. Now the smart booster supplies power and manages the DCC on your layout. So you'll need some kind of system that gives you DCC control. I chose this because it was a little cheaper than Digitrack, but not a heck of a lot. And I went to their website yesterday to order a part, and almost everything they have is out of stock right now. So I'm not sure why, but it is. It comes with its own power brick. One of the other things that I have is this. This is DCC Concepts Alpha Meter. And what this will tell me is the voltage and the amperage that's going to the track. So wires will come out of this unit. They will go into one side of this. They'll go into this side because it says input on this side, and then this is output. The other side goes to the trap, or in this case goes to the main bus, and then to the trap. And that just allows me to confirm that I've got the right juice on the track at any given time. At the end of my main bus, I'm going to put this little NCE snubber. It's supposed to help with noise in the wire, and so you put this on the end of your bus to solve that problem. I ordered yesterday a circuit breaker, which will go between the smart booster and the alpha meter, so that if I have a short or anything, I'm protecting my smart booster. So let's get to work here. Enough of me yakking. So I'm going to drill 2 holes, but I'm not going to run wires to them. I'm just going to drill them so you can see, and I'll show you how I feed wires up. So I picked a spot that's straight and easy for me. So So now these come together like this, and you're going to have to separate them. Now I'm just going to see if these will go down. Now one of the very important things, and I think everybody who talks about wiring, is maintaining the right orientation. So there's a black and a red. The black is always going to be away from me. So I'm going to put this black wire down through here. And yep, it came right through. So let's switch over. So what this would look like normally, it should be under the layout. You'd find the hole. This is why I don't like doing this, because is this the black one? Oh, it's not the black one. Be under the layout, and you would push this up. Now the other tool you'll need is a soldering iron, because you're going to solder this to the rail. So it would be like that. It would bring up up, twist it, and same thing again, put it at the side of the rail and solder it in place. So I'm gonna pull these out, and we're gonna make believe that we're underneath the layout. So here I have my speaker wire. I'm going to so this end would attach to the power booster. Let's just see. Now, as I said, this part of putting things together is something you don't need to do. I do it just because I happen to have the tools and the tools and stuff to do it with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put little ends on the wire. The braided wire, when you try and squish it in things, it often doesn't cooperate with you when you're trying to do it. So here I got my fancy gripper. And I'm going to put the little thing in there, and I'm going to squeeze and release. And we'll see on the other side. Make sure there's no stray strands of the braided wire coming out anywhere. And on she goes. Push it in good and tight. Now we just take this and have to there we go. So now it doesn't matter what side you do these, as long as you keep it consistent around your layout, so you keep the polarity of the wires the same everywhere. So take this up, stick the other one in. Come on, cooperate. There we go. Good and solid. That's one of the reasons to do this, because it's a solid connection. And then plug it in. So now we have the main bus connected to the smart booster. So let's move on to putting on a dropper. And here we'll show you how these work. Now, unfortunately, they don't make these little connectors in black for some reason. So there's red and blue. So blue starts with a B, black starts with a B. So So that's what I'm going to use for my pattern. The blue's always going to be to the back of the layout, and red's always going to be to the front of the layout. So here we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a look at my wire, and one of the strands on this wire has a black, I think you can see that, has a black line on it. And that one will be the one that's away from me. And the one without a line will be for the red. So let's do the red first. So what I do is, I grab my pliers. What I do first is take this and face it out and bring the connector around it. And now take the pliers, put the pliers on here. Really difficult trying to do it for the camera. There we go. Alright, we'll turn it around this way, do it that way. Okay, it has cut through, it just didn't clip closed. Oh, there we go, I'm trying to get in. This time it clipped closed. So there's one around the wire. Now we'll just go a little bit further down this lead. And you know what? I just messed up. Fortunately, with these things, you can take them off if you make a mistake. I should have put the red one here. Take your pliers, put them over the end here, and squeeze. And there we go. Now, let's take the blue one, down the wire a little bit further, blue for black. So now we have two connectors on the main bus. So what we need to do now is finish off the circuit by putting these little spade connectors onto those clips that are on the main bus. So take this. On your feeder, you put your feeder inside. Well, that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to strip this bit more. Now, I'm going to take my electrician's plier and I'm going to crimp down the connector. And that wire that I just put the end on just slides onto the clip that's on the main bus. There we go, just like that. Now you may be asking yourself, how do you know that you actually got a circuit? Good question. Well, I know I have a circuit because I have a tester. So I'm just going to, I'm just off camera a bit here, just getting these wires ready to demonstrate the test. So I'm going to do the red going into the main bus launcher. This is what I mean about braided wire. You got to make sure you twist the end because it doesn't always cooperate. Okay. And let's take this again. Okay. And I'm just going to take I'm just taking the wires out of the command station. And one of the things about this command station is that if you're familiar with DCC, you know you have to program your locals. And usually you can program them on a programming track, or you make a programming track and put your logo on that, and then you assign its number and check all the CVs and everything. The original booster, the original throttle is a command station booster complete. It does the programming for you using this thing. And you can, when you go through the menus, you'll get a program on the main or program on a programming track. The booster itself does not allow you to program on a program track. It isn't part of the software in it. So you have to set up a programming track of some kind. Alright, now let's just see if these make a noise. Good. Okay, so I got my volt-ohm meter here, and I'm going to clamp one of the leads of it to the main bus wire going in that goes into the booster. And now I'm going to come up here and touch the red line. And you hear that little noise? That means I got a circuit. If I switch it over to the other one, I'll take the black one. Oh, damn it. There it is. There it is. There. Now I should be able to get something out of that red wire. No? Okay, see, this is why you do this. Okay, there's something. There's something wrong here. It worked for a second there, and then now it's not. Okay, that's the red one. Oh, there we are. I just screwed around. So that little beeping means there's continuity, which means there's a circuit. So stuff is running through from one thing to the next. So the next thing I'm going to show you is something that I'm going to use in the yard. So in the yard, I'm going to feed the main bus into this distribution block. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 12. There are 24 leads on this thing. 12 positive and 12 negative. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the droppers to this, and then the main bus in here and out here. Because there's going to be a whack of droppers in the yard. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 at a minimum, and probably more. I'll probably try to figure out where there might be some issues and put in a couple of extras. If I need to, I can put a second one of these underneath there, and that would give me another 12 leads. So that's what I'm going to do underneath the layout. I've already done that over on the other side here when I was testing the diesels in the coal mine. So I'm going to have to do it again here because I think it makes sense. Instead of separating out this wire 12 times and clamping around it, I think the distribution block makes more sense. So anyway, so that's how I do my wiring. So you can tell what I have to do for the next week and a bit is to get underneath here and start running my wires. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe costs nothing, and when you do that, ring the bell, and then you'll get notified if I'm putting up another video. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and remember, it's your railway. Do it your way. All right. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.